This is Star Wars in Character, the podcast that takes a closer look at some of the characters in the Star Wars universe you probably never noticed. Backstories, histories, and details you never knew, wanted to know, or ever need to know. Now here are this week's panelists of Star Wars in Character.
Today we are talking about Jek Porkins. Porkins only appears in Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope, the Star Wars Saga. My name is Commander Cody Chris.
Yeah, you did use that already.
Today I am joined by General Maydeen Matt.
I think that's a new one.
Okay.
I think.
I would have called him General Mateen.
Yeah.
Tim, you should
I'm better at this than you.
You are.
Biggs Darklighter Dave.
Nice. Do I get a porn stash?
Ready for this one, Tim?
All right.
Jabba the Hutt Tim. What? Of the teeth and the Hut.
I know I've gained weight, but...
No, it's nothing about weight.
That's not...
Jabba the Hutt Tim.
That's lame.
It all blends together.
Yeah, that is pretty bad. That's your worst one.
Jabba Tim Hut would have been better.
Yeah.
Tim, what's some facts about this guy named Jek Porkins?
Jek Porkins. All right. Well, Jek, I'll call him Porkins. He is from the planet Bestine 4, which is a planet we never actually see in any of the movies, but it is mentioned in the cut scene that was from the beginning of Star Wars, and it's mentioned by Biggs Darklighter, and he mentions Jek's planet Bestine 4.
So the scene where Biggs is on Tatooine, like visiting Luke?
Like that scene at the beginning where he's running off to join the academy, and he's there with his, who is it? I forget the other two people's names, the girl and the guy.
Wendy and
Biggs.
Someone else.
I know the guy was played by Anthony Forrest, but I can't remember his name. Koo Stark played the girl, but yeah, it was that infamous cut scene. That's
the poncho
I don't think
scene?
it's ever been the Anchorhead scene.
Yeah.
Sandstorm one, or
No, it's a different movie, Chris.
Okay.
Sandstorm was from Jedi. No, it was a scene from the beginning of Star Wars that was cut and long talked about, and then they released it on some DVD-ROM. I don't think it's ever been officially released on a DVD or anything like that, other than that DVD-ROM that came out maybe 15 years ago. But Jek Porkins, he earned a couple interesting nicknames while he was in the Alliance. I would think Porkins was enough, but apparently they decided to nickname him Belly Runner and Piggy.
Ah,
why is that?
That's man.
I think he had a weight problem, a glandular problem.
Did he? News to me.
I knew the Piggy one on Neozaz. Dave, one of the other hosts of a couple of our other podcasts, is he was analyzing the Marvel comic adaptations versus what really happened in the movie, and there was a scene where Biggs referred to him as Piggy. So I've heard the Piggy one before, but the Belly Runner or whatever that's called, that's even worse.
That may be in the novelization.
That's just mean.
Actually, in the comic. Issue 6 of the Marvel comics, right after Porkins dies.
What page, Tim?
I don't know what page,
okay.
But Biggs actually, says to himself, "So long, Piggy, you will be avenged."
Yeah, that was in Dave's comparison, that panel, and I actually took that picture and used it as my avatar for a little while on a couple things.
Wasn't he called Belly Runner? I don't think it's a reference to his belly. I thought it was, and from reading it, it was that because he's such a good pilot, he could basically scrape the bottom of his ship along the bottom of along the terrain to make.
Yeah, he was really good at diving and strafing and stuff like that. But my guess is if he was a thin dude, they would not call him Belly Runner.
Is that because artificial gravity is working against him because he's adding extra weight to his fighter?
That's the first thing when you see him. It's like Porkins, really?
Yeah, I know, of all names.
Was he named? I wonder, was the character named before he was cast, or did they see him and Lucas was like, let's call this guy Porkins?
It's like you can audition for Sergeant Porkins or General Fat Fuck. Which one do you want?
William Hookins actually said that he was told that the character's name was Porkins, and he was afraid that he was going to have to put on like a pig nose and wear a whole lot of makeup, since he knew that there were a lot of it was basically a space movie, obviously, and he knew this, and he thought that he was going to have to be an alien with a pig nose is what he was afraid of.
He was relieved that it was a human, just a heavy human.
Being named Porkins, that was a relief to him.
Yep.
Even as a kid, I remember feeling bad for the guy, because the first thing, as soon as you see him, I got 2 words for you: neck beard. Because that's all you see. And I remember as a kid even being like, that's not nice.
He bounces around quite a bit. They must have really been shaking the little X-Wing set while he was in it, because I noticed that when you see him going, he is shaking considerably.
If the X-Wings are rocking, don't pop.
Guys, ever see that? I mean, I'll post it as soon as we're done this one. Ever see that Family Guy of Porkins?
Yeah, where he can't fit in the cockpit.
All his fat's hanging out over both sides of the ship.
Yeah.
Well, why are any of... I was watching that scene. We watch the scenes for this podcast. At least some of us do, I think. Why are any of them shaking it? I mean, like, to me, they're gliding along in a straight line. They're all bouncing like they're on four-wheelers or something like that. Why are they bouncing at all?
Well, I saw this thing here. It says that his X-Wing had like problems. It was a mechanical malfunction that made it blow up.
Well, yeah, I was
Maybe
kind of...
that's why it was like, you know...
But all of them, even like the Stay on Target and the Commander and Luke, they're all bouncing. True. What are they bouncing on? Turbulent.
My guess is
that's
back in the 70s mindset is to bounce gives the illusion that you're actually moving quickly.
Well played.
It was early.
Yeah, okay. I'll buy that.
It added to the action. Like, it made you feel like something was really happening if you see these guys bouncing around. But Porkins was a bowl of jelly, and he was bouncing.
He's really, when you think about those guys, the 4th most recognizable X-Wing pilot. Like,
why? Because he's fat.
Yeah, well, that's for whatever reason. Like, people will be like, all right, Luke, Biggs, Wedge, and the fat guy.
Yeah.
And some people will remember his name because he was fat, and it's...
Now, what would be worse if he was cast as Porkins or Biggs? Because that'd be pretty bad too. What's his name? Biggs. Oh, really?
Where is the Blu-ray scene where they show all the X-Wing pilots going to their ships? I want to see this fucker climb the ladder and get into the fucking cockpit.
Well, I was looking for him that whole time, because they have all those guys riding around on the little Zambonis, and it's the first time I really noticed that hangar and the set, like, because we're looking at stuff more so than I did before. That set is horrendous. It's one of the worst sets, I think, in the movie. It's just dark, and you can actually see like curtains in the background. Yeah. There actually really only seems to be 2 ships. There's a Y-wing and an X-wing, and the dudes on the Zambonis. I was looking for them. There's just people running around like, shit, I'm late, you know, like, and they actually have the guys with the flashlights, like in like at an airport, like, you know, this way, that way.
Right.
I didn't see him anywhere, but I was looking for that exact thing.
You saw that crane. You saw that like, that one crane that swung across camera. That was the right after it dropped him off.
Pick him up.
Here's the kicker. Originally, he was not scheduled to fight in the Battle of Yavin. He was originally Wes Jansen, who shows up in Empire. He was scheduled to fight, but he got sick, so Porkins took his place
with Heskin's fever.
Yeah, I didn't write down the sickness because I'm like, well, sick is sick, but yeah, it was something like that, Heskin's fever. Yeah, but yeah, Wes Jansen.
Heskin's, is that like Pac-Man fever? Was that a popular arcade game on Coruscant or something?
Wonga.
Yeah, like they say his name even in the battle with the AT-ATs. Like Wedge is like, good shot, Jansen, or something like that. Yeah. So it's that same guy.
It's that same guy. Yeah. So Wes Jansen basically owes Porkins his life at that point, because
until he got shot down.
Had he been up there, he more than likely would have been dead. And Porkins probably would have been adding a little extra weight to the back of Wedge's snowspeeder.
That would have been awesome. The back of the snowspeeder dragging through the snow. Or he's riding through Hoth on a tauntaun with 4 more chained behind him because they keep collapsing under his weight.
The tauntaun, God damn! Get off my back, would you?
All right, another one. My Tom
Now, when
impression, everyone.
Porkins, when Porkins dies, this is something I never understood. He's dying. His last words are, "No, I'm all right." Ah! And he blows up. But he was talking with Biggs the whole time, and for some reason, Biggs is telling him to eject.
I know.
Where is he going to eject to?
I always thought that too. Like eject? What?
If he ejects, he's gonna land on the surface of the Death Star, which is the big thing they're planning on blowing up.
He's got no face mask, or he's not in a pressure suit.
Yeah.
He's gonna be in the void of space. Eject, you'll live 3 seconds longer until you pop.
I never thought of that.
I never thought of that either.
I think I would rather blow up than to either suffocate in the dark, cold space.
Seriously, I'd try to bring my ship in on the surface of the Death Star, so I'm still intact in a pressurized thing, and hopefully someone can pick me up. I'm not going to eject. Biggs is an asshole.
Big birthing hitch is stuck in the fucking window.
He ejects and he only launches 6 inches. And he would look like that. He would look like that Family Guy cartoon. Oh, this is so terrible. I like this guy, this actor, from what I've been reading about him. I shouldn't make fun of him.
Of the actor.
I got to think about him when we get to that too.
Well, yeah, we'll talk about Bill in a little bit.
Bill.
We're on a first name basis, Bill and I.
He's the first one to die.
Is he?
He's the first of the fallen in the Battle of Yavin. Yeah. It's just like you said. He's like, Biggs is like, cover me, Porkins. He's like, I'm right with you. And he's like, I got a problem here. Shit. Yeah, he's the first to die.
Now, for some reason, I have lost my Star Wars DVD. So I have the entire saga except for Star Wars. So I wasn't able to go back.
You only own one of all the versions that are released?
I need to either go and buy the disc now at Target. It's on sale for like $13, or just wait for the Blu-ray.
Yeah.
But
I thought it was mandatory for any Star Wars fan to own 8 copies.
Well, I have the original theatrical, a bootleg of that, but it doesn't play very. I'm told that after he dies, at some point during the battle, someone else calls for Red 6, which was his call sign. So Porkins is long dead at this point, but I'm told that somewhere in there, right after he dies, another pilot calls for Red 6.
Do you think this was a mistake?
Yeah, because originally when he had signed up, I don't know who makes these decisions, but he was originally designated Red 4, and they changed it at the last minute. So that may have been the reason that someone called Red 6 in the editing, and Lucas just didn't notice. But yeah, apparently he's Red 6. Red 6 dies. At some point after that, someone else calls for Red 6. Obviously, he doesn't get an answer.
It says John D. Yeah, it became Red 4.
Well, Chris brought up, and I was confused about this too. You said there was a malfunction in his ship.
Yeah,
it's kind of hazy how he dies, because he's in the middle, like Tim said, of being disintegrated, and he says, "No, I'm all right." But in between that, they show these 2 shots, pretty bad shots, of this green cannon fire, the cannons that are shooting from the surface of the Death Star.
Yeah, and
then he just explodes. Does he explode because he's been hit by something, or just because there's something wrong with his ship?
I always thought he was shot down, but
yeah, that's always how I.
According to this, it was a mechanical malfunction.
Yeah, you don't really see his ship get hit with anything. They show the green cannon fire, but they don't show it hit his ship.
Yeah.
There was something on Wikipedia saying that there was something he didn't set to adjust for his weight.
Oh God, are you kidding me?
And that's why he went down.
That's
it says
terrible.
I'm not going to look through the entire article, but I did read something where they hypothesize that he didn't adjust something for his weight, and that's why he went down.
Oh,
it says here, his fighter was hit by the Imperial weapons emplacement, bursting into fiery fragments and killing Porkins immediately.
Okay, because I read what Tim read, and I read what you read, and I even read the thing about his weight. And when you watch the movie, he never gets hit by anything.
No.
It's actually, I mean, as great and as innovative as those movies were, it's bad editing in that one scene, because it's like they just kind of threw those green bolts in between him talking to Biggs and blowing up. He's only on screen for 7.8 seconds.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
So, and it was hard to time because he's in just these separate scenes, and he's cut in and out, and before you know it, he's dead. I mean, he is the first to die.
Oh.
That poor fat bastard. No, but, so anyway, after the Battle of Yavin, and I don't know if this is in one of the books or in one of the comics, but a holographic memorial was installed in the temple base there on Yavin for all of the fallen pilots, including Porkins.
I believe it's both. I think it was originally in the X-Wing series, which was also then turned into a comic. So, yeah, okay. I think it was comic and book.
How big was
he was? He was posthumously awarded the Kenobi Medallion, an award created specifically to recognize sacrifices at Yavin. And Luke and Wedge then formed the Rogue Squadron, and Wedge always considered Porkins to be among the first rogues.
Aww.
Yeah. So they obviously had a lot of respect for Red 6.
Saddest episode ever.
And the galley breathed a sigh of relief.
Oh. That was Dave saying not Matt, just in case anyone was, confused.
Well, I remember seeing this when I was 4, and this is I really think one of the first people I saw die in a movie. And to me, when you're 4 and you're watching this was so intense. This was like life and death in the flesh. Really scary to me.
A lot of flesh.
Oh, nice.
Don't you know he got the Kenobi medal?
I'll avenge you, Piggy.
Poor guy.
Yeah. Well, we mentioned his name earlier. Porkins was played by esteemed actor William Hootkins, who I think for all of us involved here, he has been in some of the most influential movies in all of our lives.
I totally agree, Tim.
He's when you say William Hootkins, most people outside of Star Wars, they're not going to know his name, but they're going to know the movies that he was in. Some of the movies he was in, he had a big role, some of them small role, but he had parts in just about every movie that we hold near and dear to our hearts.
Every movie?
Well, not every movie.
Okay.
Porky's.
I have one that has to be hysterically mentioned.
Some of the fan favorites that he has been in, other than Star Wars, was Flash Gordon. He was in Raiders of the Lost Ark. He was in Superman 4, which I love that movie. He was the voice of Falcor in the Neverending Story 2.
Falcor.
And he was Lieutenant Eckhart in the original Tim Burton Batman.
Was that your Jack Palance?
Yeah, Lieutenant Eckhart.
I didn't know this until last night. I'm very ashamed that I didn't know this because it combines two things I really like a lot. You guys ever hear of the show Blackadder? The show Rowan Atkinson used to do in England?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite series, and my favorite run of the series is probably Blackadder 2, and then oddly enough, my favorite episode from that is called Beer. And he was in that episode, and I didn't know it until I read it last night. I'm like, you're shitting me. So I pulled out the DVD and watched it. And it does not look the same because he doesn't have a beard. But so I was like, okay, maybe IMDb is wrong yet again because it's often wrong. So I sat through the credits. It was him. So I am ashamed to find out that years later, just now, that Porkins is in one of my favorite all-time episodes of one of my favorite Britcoms.
Yeah, his part in Raiders of the Lost Ark is pretty important, actually.
Yeah.
He sends them on the mission.
Yeah.
Didn't you guys ever go to Sunday school? And he's the guy at the end when Indy wants to know where the Ark is, and he says, we have top men looking at it. And he says, who? He says, top men. Yeah, he's a big part of that.
Yeah, yes, he is.
I saw a lot of pictures online when I was searching for his website of him at conventions, and he's just he looks very happy to be there and to spend time with the fans. Did you guys find that true when you met him?
Yeah, he was a friendly guy. I think he enjoyed his fan base.
Yeah, real sweet dude. Yeah, we met him. I think it was at Celebration 2, I think is where we first saw him. After Celebration 2, I think we saw him at several other events, but he was super nice. We went up. He was real funny, just a real jovial guy. I remember him being very orange. He was very tanned.
Probably because of his weight. He reminds me of Ray Park. You know how awesome Ray Park is? Only a lot fatter.
Yeah.
Only like
When I think about my favorite Star Wars actors that I've met, William Hootkins is up there, along with like Jerome Blake. I love Jerome Blake. I think that guy's great, and Jeremy Bullock. William Hootkins, he passed away in 2005 at the age of 57 of pancreatic cancer. So, Star Wars sort of lost a really good cheerleader with the passing of him, because he was a great convention guest. I don't know. I called him a cheerleader. I don't know.
He would be on the bottom of the pyramid.
Yeah.
I remember you guys being, as much as you say all these nice things about him, somewhat happy that he had passed away because your poster went up in value.
Once again, yes.
He died 5 days away from Lobot, John Hollis.
Yeah.
I think John Hollis died on the 18th of October.
Wow, you know how much money you guys could have made if you'd ever sell those posters that week?
His on my poster, his signature is pretty prominent. Like when you look at it, his is one of the first ones you see. And whenever I show this poster to some of the older actors who were in the original trilogy, they see his name and they all say, "Oh, Bill, he was such a sweet man."
What's weird, Tim? I think on yours, right by the autograph, is some ketchup stain right by it.
Aww.
I was eating a hot dog. He wanted a bite. So I leaned over the table.
And when you pulled it back, it was all but gone.
Along with 3 fingers.
Oh, this poor guy.
But yeah, Bill Hootkins. Yeah, he was a great convention guest. He also starred in a movie with Billy Zane, my favorite actor. The movie was This World and the Fireworks, which Chris and I rented. We made it a blockbuster night where we would go and rent a bad straight-to-video movie, and we found that this Billy Zane movie was there.
I think I dozed off during that one.
I think I did too.
I think I've dozed off during every Billy Zane movie I ever tried to watch.
Now, in all those movies, Hootkins has an American accent. Was he an American?
He was born in Dallas, but I think he spent most of his professional career in England working in their theater and television markets. I don't know. I'm not really sure the reason why. I think the same thing is true with Richard LeParmentier. I believe he's an American, and he works over in England primarily.
There's a bit in his bio on IMDb about that. Oh man, I forget. Someone told him he should check out, go to England to, continue studying and working. I forget who it was. It was someone really famous. And he did. He took that advice and apparently just never left because he really enjoyed working there. So there was a blurb about that on his IMDb page.
One other little trivia tidbit is I read that he was Spielberg had originally wanted him to play the Dennis Nedry role in Jurassic Park, which is the role that Wayne Knight played. But after seeing Wayne Knight in Basic Instinct, he decided that he was the better choice for that particular role.
That is a tough choice between the two.
I don't believe anybody got work out of Basic Instinct.
I would love to see Porkins go, you didn't say the magic word.
Yeah. Spaghetti.
And one last little thing about Bill Hootkins. He never liked to write the name Porkins on things. He always kind of felt that was sort of derogatory. So whenever he would sign his autographs, he would always sign it Red 6.
Yeah, mine says Red 6.
But I bet the ones that say Porkins are worth more money.
I think if you paid him an extra $10, he's all right.
You put Porkins on there. There's a case of ding dongs in it for you.
I wrote it twice. Do I get 2 cases?
You assholes! You look what you did. I was all defending this guy, and now I had to join in.
So basically, he was like the Star Wars Kevin Smith. He was like too fat to fly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Rebel pilot suits were all made. They were only in a standard size of one size. He was apparently too large to fit in the suit, so they had to cut the back of the suit for him to get into it. Someone says somewhere that you can see his T-shirt underneath, like along the collar of the shirt. I can't see that. I would look at the death scene, but I would think that would be the scene where you would see like a T-shirt underneath.
That's
it,
where the most movement is.
Yeah.
And it had like barbecue sauce on it or something.
Barbecue sauce.
Yeah.
So he's basically wearing a hospital gown, like it's his costume.
His ass hanging out?
With his ass hanging out the back. Tim.
Well, I guess I don't know. I don't know if they had him wear the full jumpsuit or if they just had like a top that they could put up because you never see his legs.
That's true. Yeah.
So I'm not really sure, but yeah, apparently the suit was just they only had it in one size. And when you see Luke wear it, it looks like nice on him, but on
Really?
Porkins, it is a little tight. There's there's less folds and wrinkles.
Are you done with your facts, Tim, about this poor?
That's that really is all I got on Porkins and Bill Hookins.
This is the worst I've ever felt after a podcast.
Yeah, we're all going straight to hell.
That was decided a long time ago for me, but I still feel bad.
It is unfortunate that this has turned into one big 30-minute long fat joke.
Was that big 30-minute?
The fun about it too, though, is that when they're pulling into the Death Star, Wedge says, "Look at the size of that thing." And I only wonder if that was the first time he saw Porkins in his flight suit.
Oh, Dave, you were like our last hope to not be completely dicks.
Right.
Oh, well.
That's no moon. That's Porkins' ass.
That's no moon. Porkins ejected.
Matt, does your website mention anything about his weight?
No.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. There's redemption.
Bring it on.
This might be. I know it's the most bizarre kind of thing I've found so far. I don't know that I don't think I dare say it's going to be the most bizarre one during the whole run of this podcast because I'm sure I'm going to find some weird shit. But it's at imockery.com, i-mockery. I'll put the link up. It's a game. It's like an old 8-bit Atari game called Jek Porkins and Ponda Baba in a haunted house candy hunt.
This is a game we can play?
You can play it. It's like an 8-bit Atari game. You run through this haunted house. You avoid ghosts and skeletons and mummies, and you try to get to the top of the mansion to get the candy. And I'm trying like I was playing it while waiting for you guys to call. I'm trying like crazy to get that to the end, and I'll record this. I'll screen capture the end and put it on the site so you can all see how it ends, because this is like right up my alley. This is Star Wars and old video games, and you guys certainly know I love old arcade games. So. But that's just so bizarre to put those two together and then put them in a haunted candy house hunt. It's very odd.
I think that's more insulting than all his weight jokes in the whole half an hour.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, I didn't even think of that. But it's weird. It's like it has this little intro. It's like those two talking in 8-bit voices, and then Punda Bada's like, "I'm scared. Will you hold my hand?" He's like, "Sure, I will." And it's those two running through the house holding hands, jumping over. It's really bizarre.
Oh my god, that's great.
I do want to play that. I'm off tomorrow. I'll be playing that all night.
Well, I guess if we're done with the website, it's trivia time.
All right.
Hey, trivia.
That's right. Now let's recap the scores. The current standings are Chris with 5, Matt with 7, Tim with 6,
Bam.
and Dave with 7. So,
Bam.
Chris, you got some makeup work to do here.
Who played Han Solo? Oh, okay.
Now I'm just picking this straight off the top.
Okay.
I don't want to hear any belly aching about your question. All right.
Why with the fat jokes?
Yeah. No belly running.
Here's your question. Are you ready?
Listening.
Who confidently told Luke, quote, "With each passing moment, you make yourself more my servant."
Easy.
Who confidently told Luke, quote, "With each passing moment, you make yourself more my servant."
The Emperor.
That's correct. Why did you have such trouble with that?
Because you know what it is with me? It's the most easiest shit. I overthink it. I was like, Vader, I don't think I ever said that, so I'm going to say Emperor.
So this is like getting into your head, the fact that you're in last place. Is that what you're saying?
And that too.
Well, you got 6. Congratulations.
Thank you.
How do you feel about that?
I'll have 6 next time around, too. So.
All right. That means we're on to Matt.
All right.
Matt, top of the deck. Here we go, Matt. Who sensed Darth Vader's presence on the command ship during the journey to Endor?
Gotta be Luke Skywalker.
That is correct. Luke Skywalker is the answer. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That was actually, it sounded like a Porkins swallowing.
Oh, come on.
What is wrong with you? Okay. That means we're on to Tim. Tim, are you ready?
Trivia, yes.
That's what we're doing. Tim, here's your question. Who grew weary of being called names like, quote, overgrown mophead, end quote?
I say overweight. Never mind.
I was going to say Porkins and Piggy and Belly Runner.
Who grew weary of being called an overgrown mophead?
Who grew weary of being called names like overgrown mophead? And overgrown mophead is in quotations.
Who calls... When was that said? Oh, man, I'm going to get this wrong. I am going to go with Chewbacca because Leia keeps calling him different names like walking carpet and stuff. So I'm going to say Chewbacca.
Chewbacca's correct, Tim.
Bam! When did they call him an overgrown mophead?
He's all mad.
I don't know, but you've really been out of shape as well.
Tim he gets so upset if he's going to be in second place.
We don't have to do this trivia if you guys are getting out.
Oh,
upset.
no, we have to do it as long as I'm ahead of those two bozos.
All right, Chris.
All right, ready?
I'm ready.
What two people did Darth Vader take orders from?
What two people did Darth Vader take orders from?
Correct.
All right. To me, that seems pretty easy, so I'm not going to overthink it like you guys. And I'm going to just say the Emperor and Tarkin.
The Force is strong with him.
Correct.
Nice.
So I should get an extra point. I had to answer two things.
I'll give it to you.
No, you won't.
Don't ever accuse me of overthinking things, Dave. I don't think that's ever happened in my whole life.
So we all got it right. Congratulations to everybody. So
Still
that means
losing.
the score is 6-8 to 7-8. So
I'm still losing, huh?
you are, but
Yep.
yes,
Just leave it at that, Dave.
yeah,
Yeah.
yes, you are.
All right, well, we would like to thank you for listening to our Star Wars and character discussion about Jek Porkins. Join us next time when we discuss Chancellor Valorum.
Yeah, don't blink. You might miss that one.
Thanks for listening to Star Wars in Character. Star Wars in Character is part of the neozaz.com network of podcasts. For more great podcasts and original entertainment, please visit www.neozaz.com. Star Wars in Character is not affiliated with nor endorsed by Lucasfilm Limited or 20th Century Fox. Star Wars and all Star Wars universe characters, places, or Star Wars related items are the copyright of Lucasfilm Limited or their respective trademark and copyright holders. Visit www.swic.neozaz.com for the latest Star Wars in Character episodes and information.